Can Dricus du Plessis become the greatest middleweight of all time? What's up everybody and welcome to the Fight Franchise and our preview and prediction of the main event of UFC 312 where Dricus du Plessis looks to defend his middleweight world title in a rematch versus Sean Strikland, where he would be the man to dethrone Sean Strikland from his short title reign after Sean Strikland won the title off Israel Adesanya. This is quite an interesting matchup as the first fight they had gave us a lot of tape to look back and see how good either guy is. Both guys off the back of this fight have gone on to get wins. Sean Strikland beat Paulo Costa and Dricus du Plessis finished Israel Adesanya. Interesting fight. I'm going to break down the tail of the tape, give you my breakdown of how we got here and then the preview and prediction of the fight and how do I think this fight is going to go. So we might as well just jump straight into the tail of the tape. Dricus du Plessis, the champion, 22 wins, 2 losses. Sean Strikland, 29 wins, 6 losses. Height, 6'1" for both guys, so same height. Weight, pretty much weigh the same. One thing I will probably say is, though Sean Strickland is a big guy, I feel like du Plessis will probably be the heavier on the night. I think he kind of cuts down quite a bit. I think he cuts down from about 212 to 185, and I feel like on weight on the fight day he'll be in the region of 207 to 212. Reach identical, 76-inch reach, and leg reach 43-inch for du Plessis, who's got the advantage where Strickland has the 41.5-inch leg reach. So very, very interesting kind of tail of the tape and how they kind of stack up, very similar in that kind of aspect. Also, another thing to look at when you look at the guys' win percentages and how they win, you know, both guys have got kind of average KO TKO rates. You know, du Plessis has way more submission wins than Sean Strickland. So when you look at both guys' records, du Plessis is more the finisher, Strickland's more the decision guy, and Strickland had the kind of ability to take du Plessis to a decision in their last fight. So very kind of even kind of fight in going into this one. So how do I think it's going to go? So the first fight, if I'll be honest, I thought Sean Strikland won that fight. I had Sean Strikland winning 3 rounds to 2. I'm pretty sure I gave Sean Strikland rounds 1, 2. I gave du Plessis round 3 and 4, and I gave round 5 to Sean Strickland. I'm not the judges on the night, and they gave it to du Plessis. It was a close fight. If you gave it a draw, if you gave it to du Plessis, I wouldn't mind that. It was a very competitive bout. And going into this one now for the rematch, I don't think it's going to be as competitive. I actually think one of the guys is going to get a finish. But I'm going to kind of just break down like both guys' kind of output and how they performed in the previous fight, in the first fight. So when you look at the first fight, it was a very like kind of a war back and forth where Strickland put on the pace at the start, was landing the jab, I think he didn't cut open. I think he just kind of opened a cut and then kind of smashed the nose, so the blood was pouring from du Plessis' nose, and he was just kind of smashing the eyes as well, because if you saw du Plessis after the fight, he looked like he'd been in a bit of a war. And I think it was a very competitive fight, and Sean Strickland done brilliant at the start, putting the pressure on, landing the jab and landing early on du Plessis, who was kind of just like a bit frozen in the moment. But when the volume kind of got going, you know, you look at the round 1 volume for Strickland landed 39 total strikes to du Plessis' 19 strikes. So he outdone him on the numbers in the first round. And then you look at the second round, du Plessis kind of evened it up, 26 strikes to 26 strikes. It was very easy, and he also got the takedown. I just thought in that round, you know, Strickland done the better work. Round 3, 31 strikes for Strickland total and 29 thrown for du Plessis. Significant strikes was pretty much even. It was that amount because it was even. 34 strikes for Strickland in round 4. 31 strikes for du Plessis in round 4. But du Plessis got 3 takedowns. And then round 5, 53 strikes for Strickland and 35 strikes for du Plessis. So volume heavy fighters. They both could throw a lot of punches. Strickland more than du Plessis, probably because he doesn't have as much sting on his punches. It doesn't take him as much cardio to throw the punches. Whereas du Plessis, every shot he's throwing, one of them can drop you and one of them could probably finish you. You see, because Strickland throws those kind of tippy-tappy punches where du Plessis throwing haymakers. So it's why the strikes probably favour Strickland, but can he do enough to kind of hurt Duplessis, who, you know, he has the nickname Steel Knocks. He's a tough guy, he's a big guy, and he's durable as well. He can take a lot of damage. So can Strickland do enough to hurt Duplessis and kind of win the rounds over? Or will Duplessis like an avalanche, like whenever he does it? I've said this in a lot of videos about Duplessis. He's the best momentum-based fighter in the whole sport at the moment. He can literally win a minute of a round, 30 seconds of a round, and next thing you know, it's just an avalanche of just kind of all this thing coming together, and he can just take over a fight. It's very strange. When you look at the Israel Adesanya fight, it's probably arguably 2-1 to Dricus, or you can argue it 2-1 to Izzy. They go into the fourth round, and it's back and forth, and then all of a sudden, Duplessis lands a huge shot on Izzy. Izzy's down, and then the next thing you know, it's just this avalanche and this whirlwind, and you know, Duplessis takes over the fight and submits him in the space of 1 minute. He just has this thing. He's done it in a lot of his fights. You know, Darren Till wins the second round. Duplessis wins the first round. It's very competitive. And then he just drops Darren Till, hurts him, gets him down, gets on top, and he finishes him. It's just like the momentum shifts he can cause in a fight with his power, his mentality, and his drive going forward. It makes up for the lack of skill and technique he has. And it's just like he bullies his way, he manhandles his way to a win. It's unreal. Like, I've never seen much like it in the octagon, where a guy, he can be losing a fight, or he can be looking like he's not doing the best. He can look fatigued and tired, you know. There's the memes of him face planting versus Izzy, and the next thing you know, a minute later, he's finished him. It's a crazy thing he's got, but he is the best momentum-based fighter in the UFC. He can just turn the fight in an instant. He just needs a bit of success in a fight, and next thing you know, he's finished the guy, and it's like, well, where did that come from? He's done it in so many of his fights, and that's the X factor that he's got going in. He's the confident one, he's the champion, and he's got finishing ability, which is why I'm predicting Dricus Duplessis to get a finish in this fight. And this is the other reason. The one thing about Dricus Duplessis, we all give him crap for how technically rubbish he is as a fighter, and he is. He isn't the most technically beautiful on the feet, but first of all, he's effective, which is all you need in that octagon. You need to be effective. If you can implement your game plan, implement your style against someone, you can win the fight. Second of all, Dricus Duplessis' IQ, I think people are going to be shocked. I think he's got a very high fight IQ, and I think his life approach is brilliant. His approach he's kind of like your consummate athlete, a bit like GSP, where he's like, oh, I just want to be like the best. I want to, you know, kind of train to be the best, fight to be the best, and it's just like this worker grind mentality. And I think he's a realist. He knows he's technically not good. So where he's not technically good, he ain't going to waste time to build a skill set to match some of these brilliant guys. Instead, he's just going to work hard to build his skill level up to a certain amount where he can do enough to defend against these guys in the middleweight division. He's a bit of a realist. And when you see him talk his trash talk, all his trash talk he says is like, it can be a bit crossing the line, but he just talks real, like, and he just talks from like a place of confidence, which kind of gives me confidence that he's going to win. You know, Dricus has this kind of very kind of smart aura about him. He's not going to lie to you. He's not going to kind of put on a bravado or a fake act. He's just going to literally go in there, be himself, and just tell you how it is, which is, I am the best middleweight in the world. The reason being, I hold the belt. Simple as. And I'm better than everyone. Simple as. Which will boost his mentality going into the fight and just boost his opportunity to kind of just do better. You know, as DC says, once you get the title, you get 30% better. And I think that's going to be the case with Dricus Duplessis. And especially because he's had 5 rounds with Strickland. He's probably felt him and gone, okay, the first 2 rounds I was a bit nervous. My first title fight, that's why he kind of got the better of me. He ain't going to be like that now. He's going to be like, okay, I'm not going to make it easy for him. I'm going to put the pressure on Strickland, and I'm going to break Strickland in there. And I think that's what he's going to do. I think he's going to go out there and finish Strickland in the first 3 rounds. I think he's going to get a TKO. I think he's going to rock Strickland, and he's going to drop him. The other thing I would notice, I was looking at like the significant strikes by like the targets, and I believe Duplessis was going for a more varied approach. You know, Duplessis landed 24 leg kicks and 32 shots to the body. So he's aiming for a varied target. The one thing you can see on Strickland mainly was a headhunter, 157 shots to the head, 10 to the body. I think those 10 to the body included teep, so he wasn't teeping as much to a guy like du Plessis who can grab that leg and take you down and just turn the round in his favour. So du Plessis has so many avenues to win. He's coming to his own. He's confident. He's got all this about him, and I think he believes in himself. And the other thing is physicality is a huge thing. He's a strong dude. He's a big guy in there, and I think he can't be bullied in there. I think someone as even Khamzat, who most likely will get the next title shot, I don't think he'll have an easy day with du Plessis. Khamzat's physical and he's got technique, but I think du Plessis out physicals Khamzat Chimaev, which shows you how good I think du Plessis has become and how good he's gotten. And when you look at the momentum he's on and the streak of wins he's on, let me just try and load it up, because I know we talk about since Ilia Toporia's debut, the kind of run he's put on. But to be honest, I think we all need to give credit to du Plessis, because his win streak since joining the UFC has actually been unreal. So you go Marcus Perez, KO, Trevin Giles, KO, Brad Tavares, decision, Darren Till, submission, Derek Brunson, finished, smashed him with those elbows, Whittaker, finish, Strickland's decision, Adesanya, submission. That is an unreal record and an unreal win streak. And if other people had a win streak akin to that in the UFC, you know, we should be giving him his flowers. He's performing at a very high level. And I think how it will play is the first round will be nip and tuck. And I think du Plessis will kind of have Strickland hurt. Second round, he'll wear on him a bit, use the takedowns and just sap the gas tank. And then the third round, I think he'll land a huge shot, which kind of wobbles Strickland, and then he'll have him backing him up and then land a bit of ground and pound while he's down and get the finish and say, look, give me Khamzat Chimaev next. I want the next best guy. I don't think it'll be Khamzat Chimaev for the title next. I think Khamzat won't be ready for that title shot for whatever reason, because I don't think he'll be able to fight in America. I think he'll have to fight in the UAE or Abu Dhabi. I think what they'll do for the summer, around maybe August time or September time, Dana may push for a UFC South Africa, because off the back of this win, it'll be the best time to make it. And I think Nasruddin Imavov will get that title shot, because I think Nasruddin Imavov will be more willing to fight in South Africa because he just wants a title shot than Khamzat Chimaev. Khamzat Chimaev is a huge star. I don't think he'll play ball with the UFC like Imavov will. I think that will be du Plessis' push to get the fight in South Africa and a main event in his home country. So that's what I think will happen at UFC 312. Unfortunately, a very underwhelming card, bar the main event and some other fights on the card. But let me know your thoughts in the your predictions down in the comments below. How do you think the fight's going to go? Who do you think is going to win? Put that down in the comments. Leave a like if you've enjoyed the video. Subscribe for more MMA and fight content coming soon. We hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll catch you in the next one.